In this video, I teach you how to start your own fleet. Now on the Rideshare driving school, I go into a lot of detail because if you make an investment like this is serious business, right? You know, your branding, your marketing, your drivers that you select, everything has to be perfect here if you want to make money. So at the ridesharedrivingschool.com, we will offer a course that goes into a lot of detail, how to structure the leases, etc. But now, just for the very, very basics, we're going to look at three models. We're going to be looking at the SUV model, the Uber SUV edition. That's a Chevrolet Suburban. And I suggest going with the Suburban because it's way, way less expensive than the Escalade. You can, of course, go direction Escalade. In the course, I will be talking about the investment into Escalades. That it gets a whole lot more expensive, and your leases per week to the drivers only go slightly up. So this is the car with the best margins. The Toyota Prius is a very safe deal because that's where the majority of the drivers, the Uber and the Lyft drivers, go. So we will also be talking about starting your Toyota Prius or your Uber X and Lyft regular fleet. Okay, the licenses, the insurances are very, very different there. And on this side, my favorite in the luxury edition, the BMW 7 Series. Now when it comes to the BMW 7 Series, please call me. I get the very, very best deals from BMW North America if you commit to a fleet of 5 cars. Okay, so I can get you meetings there and help you get off a fleet of a 7 Series BMWs, my all-time favorite. The second favorite would be Teslas, but again, those cars are too expensive. So we're going to look at 3 different models here. We're going to start with the one that I operate, which is the Chevrolet Suburban fleet, and we're going to go through the numbers. And I'm going to take you through some basic numbers, starting off about 2.5, 3 years ago, when we committed to our first 4 SUVs. So we're going to base those numbers on the 4 SUVs and where they are today. After 1 year, when we were cash flow positive, we started adding more and more cars. But the initial investment was 4 Chevrolet Suburbans, okay? And that's what we're going to talk about. That's what we're going to base all the figures about. And that's what we're going to base the figures on. And I can give you real, cool, exciting data there. So let's dive straight into it. So I made some notes as far as the SUV fleet goes, and a little later I'll also be talking about the Lux fleet and then the Uber X fleet, which are basically like Toyota Priuses or Honda Civics, cars in that range, right? The returns on that side are not so great, but this model here, ladies and gentlemen, works phenomenal in California. So this is based on Los Angeles real numbers, real insurance numbers, real vehicle purchase figures, real TCP costs, real repairs, etc. that come up, right? And after looking at a few businesses, the numbers, and I had the privilege to look into somebody else's business and see their numbers, so it was a no-brainer. It's one of the best return of investments that I've seen, and I'm basing all these figures on the first 4 vehicles that we bought almost 3 years ago. Okay, so here's the exciting part, that after year 1, after 12 months, there was now enough cash flow, and I'll show it to you, that you could go on and buy further vehicles. But you know, in the beginning you want to sort of play it a little careful, not go too risky here. You want to see what you're getting back, and you know, if the numbers are right, obviously you're going to increase that formula. You're going to make more money. So the one thing I want you to note is that you can use these vehicles, your Uber and Lyft vehicles can use them, but you can also set up a private limo company. So for example, if you're leasing out these vehicles, in this case we're doing an example of 4 cars, 4 drivers, I can go and set up a separate limo company And if I get bookings in, my drivers that I'm leasing to can fulfill those trips, right? So let's say it's an airport pickup. Let's say it's worth $80. That's what the market price is right there on that specific trip, right? I could offer that to my driver at $60 and I keep $20. So not only have I created the business and, of leasing out these vehicles, right? But I've also created a side business, an executive limo business, where I act as the marketer, I act as the company, getting in these trips, these bookings, and then I refer them out to drivers. My drivers are happy, they are getting the trip from me, but they are paying me a pretty hefty commission back. Let's say $20 on $80. They're getting 60, I'm getting 20. So those numbers don't even flow into you. I don't want to go into so much depth. I will offer those numbers on the Rideshare Driving School, what a private limo service can make beyond leasing out the vehicles. And for that I suggest you set up an LLC, you set up a separate website, you create your separate branding, and you take bookings online. So here we go. The cost of the vehicles, these first 4, we bought them as a bundle. There were Suburbans and a few other vehicles. The 4 cars ran at $80,000. Okay, let's just say $20,000 per SUV. This was at a dealer auction, ladies and gentlemen. Of course you can go out and finance, get good financing on cars like that, on second-hand cars that have maybe 60, 70, 80,000 miles, you get great financing, and it'll be slightly more expensive, but that is obviously a route you can go. I mean, if you could pick up a used car for $20,000, great. This one was bundled as 4 vehicles, and it was $80,000, right? The Priuses that we usually pick up at the auctions are about $7,000. The Nissan Leafs, you know, they have limited mileage range. They run at about $4,500. And when it comes to luxury cars, like I suggested, BMW 7 Series, I have a phenomenal hookup at BMW North America, but you have to invest into a minimum of 5 7 Series BMWs. If you want the hookup, I'll put you together with a person. I also get paid handsomely on that, but they will give you the very, very best rates. They are trying to promote their luxury vehicles. I do not talk about these numbers in this model. This is SUV only model based on Los Angeles, California. Of course, there are other hot markets like New York, Chicago. In fact, I found Honolulu to be a great market as well. But right now we're talking LA. And these numbers are also truly representative for San Diego, Orange County, Sacramento, San Jose, and San Francisco. So what you need first is you need a Class A certificate, and the cost per vehicle runs you at $1,500, right? That's the California TCP requirement, that certificate, $1,500. Again, we're doing the calculation based on 4 cars, that's $6,000. Now, the insurance, and I'm going to take the verbiage directly as received recently from the insurance company, because that really prompted me to make the video. It said here, I'm pleased to inform you the renewal request has been submitted and received by Global Liberty Insurance Company of New York, effective 01/06/2017. So these 4 vehicles, the insurance on them were just renewed all the way through to 01/06/2018. The cost, listen to this, of the insurance for 4 vehicles was $14,799. That's a big number, $14,799. They would accept a down payment, which was done $3,699.75, with 9 monthly installments of $1,238.25. So attached are the insurance, identification cards, and certificate of liability for the following vehicles. There are 4. So the first one we got there was a 2014 GMC Yukon. The second one was a 2013 Chevrolet Suburban. The third one was a 2013 Chevrolet Suburban. And the fourth one was a 2012 GMC Yukon. Okay, $80,000 for the 4. All of these calculations are based on 4 vehicles. So the maintenance fees per vehicle, and this has been consistent over the years, so I'm giving you a round figure. The tires, brakes, synthetic oil changes, repairs were $2,500 per SUV vehicle per year. Okay, that's on the maximum side. For 4 vehicles, $10,000. So the total investment plus all the expenses for 4 SUVs in the first year was $110,800. Okay, how do I get there? The cost of the vehicles, the cost of the insurance, the cost of all the maintenance fees, repairs, etc. for those 4. $110,800. $110,800, I apologize. That worked out to $27,500 approximately per vehicle. $27,500 per vehicle. The purchase of the vehicle plus all the repairs plus the insurance first year. So second year, we don't have to factor in the cost of the purchase of the vehicle. Now we're only factoring in the insurance for the vehicles plus all the expenses. And those expenses are reoccurring. Tires will wear down, oil changes are always the same if you're driving the same type of mileage, wear and tear, brakes, etc. So your costs for the second year are $31,000, for the third year $31,000, and so on. Okay, so after 4 years, ladies and gentlemen, after 4 years you have paid $203,800. Why am I using this model of 4 years? Because basically then that lifespan of that car should be over. Now if you've treated it super well, you might get in a 5th year. Okay, but in this case we're basing it on 4 years, super high mileage, a lot of trips, a lot of driving. These 4 drivers that just go, 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 and the costs are $203,800. $203,800, 4 vehicles, 4 years, all insurance, all repairs. Okay. Now, also note in the taxes, of course, you're writing these vehicles off. You get a deduction per year. You can write these cars off over 4 or 5 years, right? Now, here we get to the exciting part, and I'm sorry it's so far into the video, but what do these cars generate money-wise? So the SUV lease in LA, and I've seen the same figures for Orange County, San Diego, I've seen the same figures for pretty much all the big cities in California. You can comfortably rent out this vehicle that you've bought at the dealer auction or that you financed, and it's pretty high mileage. I mean, it's starting off 70,000, 80,000 miles. It's not a brand new car, but it's well maintained. And $80,000 miles is nothing for a car. So what do they generate? You can lease this car at $500 per week. Okay, that's on the low end. You will have no problems getting $550 right now per week. Okay, I'm basing this on a round figure, the figure that we are leasing it out on, $500. That means $2,000 of lease fees coming into you per SUV per month. Okay, and now I've seen Escalades being leased in LA, you know, $650 and up. But I mean, what are you putting in your back? What is the driver putting in your back pocket? You want to keep the driver happy as well. If you're the owner of the vehicles, you don't want a high turnover of drivers. It's just like an apartment. You don't want your apartment not rented out and vacant, hoping to get a tenant. You lose 1 or 2 months in the apartment game, I know, right? And you've lost several $1,000s. So it's the same with a vehicle. You'd rather have a decent lease fee and keep that driver. Now, most of these drivers have been driving with us for 2 to 3 years, right? They haven't left because they know once they start shopping around, it's $550 upwards. Why can you ask for that figure? Because guess what? The SUV and black market is shut down in LA, OC, San Diego, and other cities. That means it's oversaturated. They do not allow further SUVs to be registered. So right now, if you grandfathered in and you have those licenses for those vehicles and you're permitted historically because you've registered several years ago, you can now use that as a commodity and lease out those SUVs, right? I guess for cities where they openly allow SUVs, and still to register, I guess those figures would be a little lower. But these are pretty much California figures. Now, if the car generates $2,000 on leases per month, that's $24,000 per SUV per year on leases that it's generating. That means 4 vehicles are now generating $96,000 per year. Listen to that. $96,000 per year for 4 vehicles. Okay, over 4 years, the vehicles would have generated $384,000 after 4 years, right? So we based our calculations on the expenses on 4 years, and we're looking at the income here over 4 years, the lifespan of that vehicle. So if I go back here, including the purchase of the vehicles, and by the way, after 4 years, I can still put those 4 cars back on the market to the public for about $50,000, get a whole $50,000, about $12,500 per vehicle back, right? Because I bought them very inexpensive at the auction. I've put on heavy mileage. I can still put them back on the market way down the line for $10,000 to $12,500. The expenses, including the purchase, was $203,800 after 4 years. Your income generated was $384,000 after 4 years. Okay, let's say we were to rent those vehicles out for $550 per week, not $500. I've based everything on $500 per week. If we were to rent them out at $550 per week, we would increase the revenue by $38,400 over that 4-year period. This basically means that you've doubled your money after 4 years. In 1 year's time, these cars can be put back on the market, which I've already explained, and the public will still pay you a decent amount even for a Chevy that has fairly high mileage. Okay. Now, if you were leasing your SUV vehicles out at $550 per month, after 12 months, your 4 SUVs have generated $105,600. That's almost the same as the $110,000 that we've spent on expenses, including the purchase of the car for the first year. Okay, so you can comfortably say that after 12 months, you have your return of investment back. You operate them at a full 4 months, and crucial, and I explain this in the Rideshare driving school. You could sign up for the series that we're launching, how to cherry pick good drivers, because you want good drivers in this, right? You want to make sure that they reach certain requirements. Also, very, very, very important, ladies and gentlemen, is that they have specific ratings, specific amount of trips, okay? And that, like I say, you pick real good drivers. Your branding, all of that is crucial, because when you're marketing all your vehicles, right, you're helping your drivers get trips, you're helping them market their future customers, you're getting them through social media, etc. So all of that I go into a great lot of detail in the Rideshare driving school. Now, so why is this a safe investment? Well, firstly, the monies that those drivers generate weekly. Okay, right now we're on 17 cars. I've based this on 4 cars here, right? These 4 drivers and these 4 vehicles, they are performing, let's say, $1,500 to $2,500 in the high end. They're generating that on trips per week, right? Ladies and gentlemen, those monies, those $6,000 to $10,000 weekly come into your account, the person who owns the SUVs, right? You then disperse the funds, you write your checks to your drivers, okay? So it's crucial to have really watertight lease agreements, okay, legal agreements with your drivers. I go into that on the Rideshare driving school. And it's also very important to, again, I'm repeating myself here, sorry, but pick the right drivers. But it's very important that you have tracking devices in your car, 1 or 2. OnStar is phenomenal. So the safety of that, the risk of that vehicle going missing or crossing the border or somebody stealing it is low because it's being tracked, right? So what type of security measures, again, do we have built in? the fact that the monies, the earnings of those drivers come to you first, right? So if person driver A is earning $2,000, I deduct the $500 out for the lease, I write him a check for $1,500. If driver number B is generating $1,500, I take the $500 lease amount out, I write him a check for $1,000. You get the idea, right? So there's a lot of control mechanisms and safety mechanisms built, and that's why I like this, and that's why I'm bringing it to you. Now, what about, those are the numbers, the expenses and the income on SUVs, and you can see where the break-even point is after about a year. You can see the returns on your investment, phenomenal. You've got all the numbers, go through it again, contact me if you have more questions. On the luxury BMW 7 Series, I will be making another video on that. Again, you can comfortably rent these cars out at $500 to $550 per vehicle per week. You would also need the TCP license. You have, depending on your warranty, BMW has phenomenal warranty, so the big repairs are fine. You're still going to pay for tires, brakes, etc., oil changes, okay? But BMW absorbs those big maintenance fees in the warranty. Now these cars, it's very different to SUVs, right? These are high-end clientele, usually one or two people, business people, a couple, and man, you really have to know what you're doing. So if that's the direction you want to head into, I've helped many people get luxury BMW 7 Series off the ground, or Teslas off the ground. It's a formula. I'll teach you the formula. If you are looking at the little cars, and I'm talking now the Toyota Priuses, you can pick them up dirt cheap at auctions. You can lease them out at about $600 per month, okay? Bearing in mind, if the driver wanted to go directly to Uber, you know, he could go through Hertz or Enterprise, where he could pick up a car from $180 per week to $220, okay? That would be, you know, that would be in the $700 to $900 range. You're coming in at $600, you're leasing out your Prius. So they will tend to go more your way. You can advertise on Craigslist, you can advertise in many social media platforms, on Facebook, and that. There are a lot of young student drivers that need UberX vehicles, specifically Priuses. So if you have a way to pick these cars up inexpensively, you have a great business model. Again, those drivers that you're leasing them out to, they go out and get their own insurance. In this game, in the lower categories, UberX and that, you do not want to provide the big commercial insurance. You don't need it. They have to go and get their own private insurance, right? And they have to show you. So in order for that vehicle to then qualify with Uber, he or she would be leasing from you at $600 per month. He or she would show you the insurance documents that they have insured that vehicle. They would submit that to Uber. Uber would green light them, and off they go, right? And the $600 they'll easily recover. Now, if they have great credit, they don't need you, they don't need Uber. They're going to go and lease a vehicle on their own, or they're going to purchase a vehicle on their own directly from Toyota, you know, at $250, $350 per month. They'll chop that fee in half once again, right? So here you can see the good credit, leasing or buying, you're looking at about $300 per month. If you're looking at private individuals like myself, we'll pick up these cars at $600 per month. We won't look at the credit that closely, but we will look at the ratings and the amount of trips. What is the experience of this driver? Is he high rated? Is he or she high rated? Are they 4.8 to 4.95 rated? Okay, these are good drivers that you want, right? Or on the other hand, the driver has really bad credit. They then turn and you know, they might finance a car for ridiculous fees, or if they have semi-okay credit, they would end up probably renting from Hertz or Enterprise or directly from Uber. So it all depends at the end of the day on your budget, I'm talking now to the driver, on the driver's budget and the driver's credit rating. You yourself, the operator of the vehicles, you're simply leasing out these vehicles. Okay, and we've shown you 3 models. We've shown you the SUV model, where we've supplied all the numbers, showed you that there is a possibility of the luxury vehicles, and then the UberX. So specifically these last 2, Lux and X, if you want help there, reach out to me. There's also money to be made, but again, the highest margins, okay, are in the SUV. Now, committing at that time to 4 vehicles was not very difficult for myself and for my partner. And I'll tell you why, because we were looking at the numbers of another close friend who had 5 cars. Looking at all the numbers, open book, and saying, you can't go wrong. So immediately got that great offer for 4 vehicles, got a far better insurance rate by signing up 4 vehicles at once. And then after the first year, it was cash flow positive, just added car after car after car after car, right now up to 17 vehicles, right? Okay, so start low, aim high, and I can tell you can comfortably commit. If you have the finances, depending how far you want to take this, you can comfortably commit between 1 and 5 vehicles. I will be offering a full-on detailed course with all the details, the branding, the leases, etc. on the Rideshare drivingschool.com. I hope that these numbers have helped you. I apologize, it's a long video, but we had to go in great detail. So have fun, drive safe, and I'm excited to talk to you. Bye-bye.